incredibly close to creating one of the greatest underdog moments in NASCAR this entire season. The driver that plenty of people still think of primarily as a YouTuber showed up at Talladega, ran strong at the front of the field, led several laps, came agonizingly close to winning the ARCA event, and now only days afterward, a major new announcement has officially confirmed that Cleetus is returning to Talladega, this time behind the wheel of a NASCAR truck. This is far more than just another one-off or casual entry. Cleetus McFarland is coming back to one of NASCAR's most legendary and high-profile tracks with Nice Motorsports, taking control of the number 4 Chevrolet Silverado. Blues Hog has signed on as the main sponsor for the Talladega Truck Series race set for October 23rd. In this piece, we are thoroughly examining how his last Talladega performance played out, why that second-place finish dramatically changed how people view him, what this latest announcement actually represents, the background of the controversy regarding his initial approval, and most crucially, what NASCAR officials are saying at this moment about Cleetus along with the chances of him gaining approval for even more significant superspeedway opportunities in the future. This entire storyline extends well beyond any single race. It centers on whether Garrett Mitchell, the person the world knows as Cleetus McFarland, is steadily evolving from a well-known YouTube racing figure into a true, respected name within NASCAR. Let's start at the beginning of this journey. For many years now, Cleetus McFarland has established himself as one of the most prominent and impactful motorsports content creators on the internet. He built a massive audience with intense drag racing action, creative and wild vehicle projects, the exciting Freedom Factory events, and entertaining videos that brought racing alive in a fun, loud, and approachable way for people who may not have followed NASCAR closely throughout their lives. But during the last year, the situation has shifted noticeably. Cleetus has moved past simply showing up around the NASCAR scene. He has been actively racing in real NASCAR equipment, taking part in ARCA races, Truck Series events, and various opportunities in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Gradually, the main question has changed from whether this was only a celebrity-style appearance to just how far he can actually progress in the sport. Cleetus has spoken publicly about this change in perception. Earlier this year, he mentioned that he had been called a YouTuber for so long, and how much nicer it sounded when people began referring to him as a NASCAR driver. That one statement perfectly illustrates why this whole effort is so meaningful to him. Cleetus is not satisfied with remaining just a content creator making occasional appearances. He is committed to building real credibility and earning respect from those inside the NASCAR garage. Last week's Talladega ARCA race could very well stand as his most impressive achievement to date. Cleetus did much more than merely participate and make it to the end. He emerged as a serious factor in the race. He competed right up near the leaders, skillfully navigated the draft, led laps, and positioned himself with a genuine shot at victory that would have electrified fans everywhere online. In the end, he finished in second place, but the fan response and energy felt almost identical to what a win would have generated. Before that event, quite a few doubters were still unsure if he really deserved a spot on challenging tracks like Talladega. Superspeedway racing often looks deceptively simple from the outside because the cars stay grouped together in large packs and the draft helps maintain close racing. But from inside the car, it requires incredibly precise and quick thinking at extremely high speeds. Drivers have to make split-second choices about when to push the gas, when to back off, when to protect their position, when to rely on their drafting partners, and when the smartest move is simply to stay safe. Cleetus looked noticeably more comfortable and prepared than many had predicted. That near victory is exactly why his performance sparked such widespread discussion. He wasn't perfect and continues to learn with every lap, but he showed sufficient speed, control, and understanding of the race to convince many observers that he might be bringing more to the table than just online visibility. A large number of fans on X believed that this Talladega run marked the point where Cleetus proved it was time for NASCAR to stop seeing him as an outsider. If he could achieve a second-place finish in ARCA at Talladega, lead laps and race competitively at the front while keeping the car clean, then he had already demonstrated he deserved more chances. However, this success is also where the controversy grew even stronger. Right before these recent developments, Cleetus had been denied approval for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Talladega, and that decision created a sharp split among NASCAR fans. Some supporters felt NASCAR was being excessively careful and protective. They emphasized that Cleetus brings new viewers, fresh excitement, additional sponsors, and a younger audience that the sport should be working hard to attract and welcome. For those fans, denying him the Talladega O'Reilly race seemed like NASCAR was holding back one of the most exciting crossover stories the sport had seen in a long time. Others strongly supported NASCAR's careful stance, and it's easy to understand both viewpoints. The positive side sees the huge potential and broad appeal, while the cautious side focuses on the real dangers present. Talladega is not an easy place to learn lessons the hard way in quicker, heavier, and more powerful cars. One mistake in the draft can easily take out a large portion of the field, just like we saw in the recent Cup race with that massive wreck known as the Big One. Superspeedway racing is unforgiving when errors happen, which explains the existence of NASCAR's approval system. Officials explained that they wanted to see additional development and experience from Cleetus before approving him for an O'Reilly Superspeedway race. John Probst, NASCAR's executive vice president and chief racing development officer, was straightforward about it. Everyone at NASCAR is a big fan of Cleetus, they enjoy his videos, and they truly value all he has done and will keep doing for the sport. Even so, the important limitations stayed in place. Cleetus was cleared for ARCA, trucks, and O'Reilly short tracks, but not yet for the superspeedway events in the O'Reilly series. Credit to Cleetus, he responded to the decision with maturity and class. He avoided any public complaints or blame. Instead, he accepted that he simply needed more time in the car. That kind of mindset is very important when seeking approval. How a driver handles disappointment can be just as telling as their on-track abilities. If someone argues loudly and points fingers, it damages their chances. But demonstrating understanding and a desire to gain more experience helps keep future doors open. And now that door has opened wide in a very meaningful manner. The big announcement makes it official. Cleetus McFarland is set to return to Talladega Superspeedway in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on October 23, driving the number 4 Chevrolet Silverado for Nice Motorsports with Blues Hog as the primary sponsor. This represents a major step forward. It does not automatically mean he now has full approval for every superspeedway race in the O'Reilly series, but it does ensure that NASCAR fans will get to see Cleetus back at Talladega in a competitive National Series truck with a solid team, real sponsorship support, and another strong chance to make his mark. Cleetus sounded genuinely thrilled following the announcement, stating that he was fired up to be driving the Blues Hog Silverado for Nice Motorsports at Degas and that everyone was hopping to take it to the front. That positive, excited attitude is precisely what his fans want to hear. From Nice Motorsports' viewpoint, this collaboration makes complete sense. Cleetus generates huge attention, Blues Hog fits naturally with racing fan culture as a sponsor, and Talladega provides the perfect high-energy stage. It combines NASCAR, barbecue, trucks, and a massive online following into one exciting package. Ross Chastain also expressed his support for Blues Hog joining the team, saying he loved what the brand had been doing in NASCAR and that everyone was super excited to welcome them to Nice Motorsports. This carries extra weight because Nice is clearly building a longer-term relationship rather than a short-term gimmick. Blues Hog is now the official grilling partner of Nice Motorsports and will also be featured on the number 45 truck alongside Ross Chastain and Landon Lewis for the rest of the season. Therefore, Cleetus is not just getting a filler ride. He is part of a broader team and sponsorship initiative, and the timing aligns perfectly with his recent success. After that impressive second-place ARCA finish at Talladega, the buzz and excitement around Cleetus are likely at their highest point yet within NASCAR. He has the dedicated fan base, the inspiring personal story, and renewed momentum heading into the future. On top of that, he now has another Talladega appearance confirmed on his schedule. That said, fans should understand there is a clear difference here. The Truck Series return is important on its own, but full approval for O'Reilly Superspeedway races remains a separate step. This is the area where the newest comments from NASCAR officials become especially interesting. According to NASCAR Vice President of Race Communications Mike Ford, Cleetus has still not received full approval for those O'Reilly Superspeedway races. His next key evaluation is scheduled for Nashville in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Ford made it clear by saying not yet, and noted that the next step would involve the race at Nashville Superspeedway, after which officials would meet again to discuss progress. This means Nashville stands to be a pivotal test for Cleetus. If he runs a clean race, shows competitive speed, handles the traffic well, and gives NASCAR officials enough confidence, then the approval group may take another look and consider advancing him to higher opportunities. Ford also hinted that a successful performance at Nashville could lead toward more comprehensive approval, possibly covering intermediate tracks and eventually superspeedways further down the line. So no, Cleetus has not instantly unlocked every NASCAR truck opportunity simply because of his strong ARCA result at Talladega. But the road ahead is now much clearer, and that clarity is what keeps this story so engaging. Only a month ago, the focus was on his denial of approval. Now the focus has shifted to his near victory at Talladega, a confirmed return in a truck at the same track, and a solid chance to climb higher on the approval ladder with a good run at Nashville. That change represents a very significant shift in the narrative. The debate surrounding him will continue for some time. There will always be fans who believe NASCAR is being too slow and cautious, while others will argue that Cleetus still needs additional experience in ARCA and trucks before being placed in the fastest superspeedway packs in the O'Reilly Series. People inside the sport will keep a close eye on whether his large following is matched by real on-track skill and development. Nevertheless, after his Talladega showing, it has become much more difficult to dismiss his efforts. He has displayed measurable improvement, respect for the approval procedures, the power to bring in sponsors, and most important of all, the ability to be an active, competitive part of the race instead of only adding entertainment value. That is the line he must keep crossing, because NASCAR is not looking for him to become a Cup Series champion right away. The true goal is to see if he can race safely and cleanly, learn fast, increase attention on the lower series, and prove that drivers coming from outside traditional paths can earn their place properly. For NASCAR as a whole, this kind of contribution is highly valuable. Cleetus brings in viewers who might not normally watch ARCA or truck races. He creates interesting storylines, encourages more sponsors to get involved, and at a time when every racing series is searching for ways to grow its audience, a personality like Cleetus is tough to ignore. Yet NASCAR also cannot approve him for everything based solely on his popularity. Balance is essential. Popularity helps draw attention to the sport, while consistent performance builds lasting respect. Approval has to come from showing he can manage the car, the specific track demands, and the intensity of the moment. This explains why the October 23rd Talladega truck race is so meaningful. It gives Cleetus another opportunity to compete on a superspeedway in NASCAR equipment, a platform to continue the momentum from his recent ARCA runner-up finish, major exposure for Nice Motorsports and Blues Hog, and another important piece of information for NASCAR as they assess how quickly and how far he should advance. For fans who support Cleetus, this is a big success. For more traditional NASCAR followers, it serves as another key test. And for anyone paying attention to the sport right now, it stands out as one of the most fascinating crossover stories happening in racing. If Cleetus goes back to Talladega in October and runs well once again, the conversation will move forward even more dramatically, from wondering whether he can handle Talladega to asking what other opportunities NASCAR should consider giving him. That is when this story has the potential to grow very quickly. So yes, Cleetus McFarland's next NASCAR appearance at Talladega is now confirmed. He will be returning in the Truck Series with Nice Motorsports driving the number 4 Blues Hog Chevrolet Silverado. But the real importance lies in what this race could open up for him going forward. A strong, clean performance at Nashville could bring him closer to wider approval. Another good run in the truck at Talladega could help convince even more skeptics. And if he continues to run near the front consistently, NASCAR might eventually be forced to see him less as a popular celebrity experiment and more as a serious developing driver who brings genuine value to the sport. That perspective is exactly what makes this announcement so powerful. Cleetus isn't simply going back to Talladega, he is returning with increasing momentum, ongoing discussion, solid sponsor support, strong fan backing, and a real opportunity to show that his NASCAR story is still in its early stages and has plenty of room to grow. Now I want to hear what you think. Should NASCAR go ahead and approve Cleetus McFarland for additional superspeedway races if he puts together clean and competitive runs at Nashville and Talladega? Or should they keep requiring him to prove himself step by step with more experience in ARCA and trucks first? Leave your opinions in the comments below, hit the like button if you enjoyed this full breakdown, and subscribe for more detailed NASCAR coverage including driver updates, controversies, race reactions, and all the biggest stories from the garage area. No matter if you are completely supportive, still skeptical, or somewhere in between, one thing is now very clear: Cleetus McFarland is not going anywhere.